Okay, so we're gonna schedule here, we're just gonna walk through the budget, and then at the end here, I have a little bit on our current financial situations where we're in, and we'll walk through that a little bit. So we're gonna start, so everybody got a sheet in front of them, and we'll just start with the summary there, and you can see we have a proposed ministry funding plan that actually is down about $16,945 from 2020. And we'll walk through where the big changes were basically that came from in the new budget plan. One thing to mention that, I think everybody knows 2020 was a challenging year, and you're going to see some of that in some of our financial recap a little bit on that. But if you go to the next slide there, Jody, this is the general fund payroll expenses, and you can see the big changes there was negative $8,607 on staff salary and benefits, and we didn't fire anybody. Okay, that's a joke. Okay, but actually, Pastor Dave kicked Ross out of the house officially, and actually that's a decrease in actually the health plan from a family health plan down to a different health plan for the pastor. So that's the big one there. Social Security, you can see went down, and that was more so of just how we accounted for it in the last couple of years. We didn't count the right way in the budget. So basically, in the budget, it shows $2,726 to the negative, but it really hasn't changed anything overall in the last couple of years on that. Medicare went down a little bit then too. So that was the big thing on where a bulk of the negative 16,000 came from. If you go down to the next one, Joey, general expenses, when you look at office supplies, our office supplies have gone up just because we're sending more things out, we're printing more things off in the mail and that kind of thing, just for communication wise. Our classes assessment, based off of how the classes figures that out, we will increase another $2,578 this next year. Basically, they base that off of how much our giving total is, and they include any of our, maybe we didn't pay the light bill. Okay. And then they just figure, and they include any of our capital campaign funding and all that stuff in that figure. So that's why it's going to go up again. Utilities have gone up. Basically, I think everybody's seen the utilities going up. Property insurance has gone down by about $1,800 now. We have actually less property insurance, and that's why we actually have gone down a little bit. And then I think you see the bus ministry has gone down a little bit too, just because we haven't been using the bus, and we probably don't foresee a lot of bus travel in the near future here with groups of people. So if you keep going down to the next one.
Next slide.
Yeah, next slide. If you look under the deacons and property, biggest thing was snow removal has gone down. We've done less snow removal the last couple of years, so we brought that number down. And then you can see storage expense went down $360. Deacons actually this spring cleaned out a storage shed. We're down to one storage shed. If anybody would like church pews, we could get done with no storage sheds. But so if anybody wants a church pew, please find a deacon, because we'd like to get rid of some church pews in storage. Okay, go to the next one, Jody. So our education ministry, there are some changes there. You can see the TLC and RCYF both went down $3,000, and that's just because right now we don't currently really have a ministry that's active in that realm right now. And then you can see a few little other changes in family ministry, student gifts, that kind of stuff. Again, with the situation we're in and how we're starting next year, we don't see a lot of groups of people doing a lot of things together as we go forward. So if you keep going, Jody, worship ministry, pretty much stayed the same when you take a look at it. We won't spend a lot of time there, and if you keep going to congregational care, the next one, that's changed a little bit, just because, again, meals, special events, how we do ministry a little bit different now. Again, with COVID, that's changed a little bit, but not too much off there. If you keep going down to benevolent, hasn't not changed at all. We left all the benevolent in for next year as of now. Again, deacons look at that benevolent fund, and usually at the end of the year we decide how much we're going to disperse out into that benevolent fund depending on how the funding goes at the end of the year. Okay. And next we'll go to the mission. Mission has not changed at all. We'll support the same missionaries as we go forward next year. And then I think that's it on the budget side. Okay. Anybody got questions on the budget?
Yeah, Ryan, where does the cost of the website come from? You pay to GoDaddy, you pay to
Yeah.
WordPress.
So Nick, do you know where exactly that comes out of? It's somehow we're out of office expenses under the general funding operating expenses. I'm sure it's under office supplies and that kind of thing. Computer-related budget line, that's great. Anna pays the bill there, so thanks, Anna. Okay, any other questions? Okay, we just wanted to go through a little bit of where we're at. This is as an update from our last consistory meeting. Nick puts this together every month for us. So this is as of October 19th, somewhere in there when we had our last consistory meeting. Interesting enough, when you look at where we were for September of the last month, we were in the red, about $4,500. And then when you look at the average weekly giving, and that's up there from 2017 through 2020 up there, you can see in 2020 we have quite a few red numbers. So our giving has been down quite a bit, and I think you can probably tell, with COVID and other situations that's going on, I think a lot of churches are probably seeing that as we go forward. Now, when you leave or see Nick Mans on the street sometime, please thank him, because Nick actually applied for the payroll protection plan through the government for us this year, and Bethel received a nice little gift from the government to kind of keep us floating. And without that loan that we did not have to repay back, we really kept things floating this year on that. And that was $32,700. So that was a significant amount. And Nick did the paperwork. Nick got her done for us, and so please thank Nick sometime when you do that was a big deal this year. Okay. Jody, if you want to go one more slide, I think I got up there. And then there's the 2020 giving, and it's broke out by week. And you can see the weeks in green were above normal, and the weeks in red were below normal. And again, we're seeing a little bit more red on that screen than we like. Black is about even on average out there. Again, more red, not good. So, any questions on that part? Because if you go forward, Jody, a little bit on With God We Can right now, you can see this is currently where we're at as far as how much is pledged versus how much received. So for 2020, we have $184,000 approximately pledged. We've received $86,000. So as of a couple of weeks ago, about short, a little over $100,000 yet to come in for this year. But then when you go to the next slide, Jody, our current balance in the bank right now for With God We Can is actually 1.6 million and a little bit above that. And kind of interesting, when I was putting the slide deck together, I did throw in last year's amount. So last year when we were presenting at the budget meeting, we were about 1.4, now we're at 1.66, so you can see we've gone up about 250,000 in that fund, and that's cash on hand on that part. So, okay, I think that was the last slide. Yes, last slide. Any questions or comments? Okay, maybe we'll open it up to any questions or comments on the vote or anything going forward. Because that's when I bring Tom up.
Just want to say a couple words of gratitude to the congregation. Thank you for participating in the latest survey that we put out. In this time when we're not all together as closely as we usually are as a congregation, it was very important to get your feedback. And based upon that feedback, we are going to be presenting the two options for voting next week, both of which are forward movements towards our goal of building a new facility in worship. So I want to thank you for that. I want to also thank the consistory this past year, and the pastor and the staff. It's been a challenging year with COVID, and it's been not only a challenging year to govern or try to lead the congregation, or to discern what God has in store for us. I think we've all been challenged personally on that level to decide what we're trying to do and where He's leading us in that. So we ask you to continue to pray for Bethel, for the staff, for the consistory, as we try to move forward in His ministry for Bethel. So if you do have any questions about those, I'm happy to try to address those for you this morning. But I want you to make sure that you feel blessed and appreciated for what you've done, where we're at today, the numbers that Ryan and the deacons and Nick have presented here only go to speak towards where He's leading us as well. So thank you for your faithfulness in that as well. So I'll quit talking and ask if there's any questions. Okay. Well, again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and from all those that I mentioned already. And may God bless you, and we'll see you then next week. Are you going to close? Okay. Let me close in prayer. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to serve. We lift our eyes towards you on a daily basis, Lord, and ask you for your guidance and your grace upon us as we go about discerning your work for us here on earth. Lord, we ask you to bless each and every one of us. We want to ask you to bless us as a congregation. But most of all, we ask you, Lord, and thank you for the providence that you presented us and how you take care of us. For this we pray and ask you to protect us this week. In the Lord's name, amen. Thank you all.
I'd like to just invite you all. Have you, Mike? You turned everything off already? Would you just please express your appreciation to the consistory members? They have done a really, really great job. They're a blessing. Thank you, Tom, and the rest of the deacons and elders. God bless you all. See you next week.